All right, here we go. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. I'm just going to get all the tech set up before we start here. Welcome. Welcome. Just going to get all the tech set up before we start here. So you can get a drink of water, some tea. All right, so let's see if you can comment. I think you might be able to. Not yet. Here we go. You able to comment? Okay, yay, it's working. The best. Oh, hello. It's so great when I can see everyone. Oh my goodness. All right, we're just going to take another moment. Yay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. These are a gift from a student of mine. And so appreciative of them. Hello. So good to see you. So, wow, what a powerful beginning of this challenge that we've had. For those who are tuning in live, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. And for those who are watching the replay, welcome to you too. You'll get a lot out of it either way. I just want to acknowledge the power of seeing your commitments yesterday and today to social justice. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, check out day one and the yoga social justice sun salutation flow that we did and a lot of folks are doing. So powerful. And you can participate. Some people have been doing like audio. Some people have been filming themselves doing a physical practice. Some people have been writing their commitment. They're like, every time I read them, I get choked up. So keep them coming, and we'll have another practice today that's going to be fun for you to do and for us to share. So hello, day two. It is lovely to be back with you. And I'm just checking the comments. Yes, I will share the song that I'm playing. So I love to bring integrity through the start, middle, and end of what I do. And so this is actually a original composition from a South Asian artist named Sarathi. And I will link all their links below the video. I'll do it for yesterday's and today. And I'm excited for that. And in the spirit of integrity as well, I wanted to, yesterday I put that something was Yoga Sutra 2.66. Was not. It was the Bhagavad Gita section 2.66. And so I wanted to make sure to to let you all know that. And then the other important thing to name, and I wrote about this in a recent blog that's on my site, which I'll also share later, is the beginning and the end of the poem commitment that we did. I know it from the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee in the Civil Rights Movement, from, if not you, who, if not now, when. And I believe I did some research that phrase first came from Peter Tosh, who is an activist and musician. And so I want to credit that part of the poem. And then the other parts came from like poems I used to teach in high school. So I'll share that as well a little bit later. So welcome to day 2, Satya. And let's take a moment to breathe together. I'll invite the bell. And we'll tune in to truth. Sat, right here, right now, in this moment. I invite you to tune into the truth of how you are coming here and right now. How is it with you? And perhaps 1 or 2 words percolate up for you. Tired or excited, present or distracted. What is the truth present with you in this moment? And then you can blink your eyes open if they were closed and look around you for just a moment, taking in where you are in the world, not so much the place, but like form and color, shape and light. And then we'll come back to the sacred circle, the circle of learning, the circle of action. And I'd love to invite you to type 1 or 2 words in the chat. I like having 2 words because for me, sometimes 1 is not enough. I need multiple ways of expressing how I'm doing. And there can be duality and contradiction and, harmony and disharmony, all of those at the same time. So please share your words in the chat. Yeah, open, rough, curious and excited. Yes. Needing to hold a boundary. Cold and crisp. It's beautiful. It's very warm here. You may be able to see outside. I'm in Seminole land, on Seminole and Timucua land, colonized as Orlando, Florida. And the bamboo outside is channeling my homeland of Assam. And the swaying, there's a lot of wind today, a lot of swaying in the breeze. So I'm very movable. Ooh, look at all your words coming in. Tired and hopeful, hungry and longing, wanting, troubled. Powerful. Keep them coming, please. Keep them coming for folks as you're coming on. And we are going to explore Satya together. Yes. All right. Impatient and cold, tense and hopeful, excited and grateful. Well, I am so grateful that you're here and that you're back on the second day of the challenge. Today is all about Satya, and we're going to go deep, y'all, okay? We're also going to get really specific and end with a practice. So truth is, and the practice will be accessible, and I'll share how to do it. Know the right words to say to address injustice, and know that part of yoga practice is to speak up in the face of injustice, and we'll get ourselves there. So my aim for you in this yoga and social justice challenge for today is to inspire you to speak, to care for yoga's roots, and to share far and wide. This is not anyone's movement. No one owns yoga. Yoga came through, yoga came to us, and of course we should honor and respect the roots of the practice and the tradition, but it's here to serve the ultimate benefit of all beings. And so this is not anyone's movement, it's all of our movements, and we truly need all of us. So breathe once again, and I will often have my water bottle here. I've got warm water once again. I love drinking warm water. That's a kind of echoes when I do this. It's an Ayurvedic practice to have warm water. It soothes the nervous system. And I sip water and have water and other elementals like fire around me, or focus on the earth, as part of my way of connecting to the elements and those first primordial elements that yoga practice comes to us from. So we begin with the Yoga Sutras 2.36. This really is in the sutra, checked. Satya pratishtam kriya phalashratam. When the sadhaka is firmly established in the practice of truth, their words become so potent that whatever they say comes to realization. When one is established in truthfulness, one ensures the fruition of actions. And so we'll come back to this, because when we're talking about the fruits of our actions, I want to share personally a little bit about my story, the shy part of my story. Okay. So I am really shy, and I grew up really, really shy. As a brown immigrant young woman, I really just tried to kind of erase myself. And I felt like nothing I had to say was wanted, was needed, or was valid. And a lot of those messages did come from outside me, from the culture around me, but also from inside. I was silenced within and outside. And so I tried to shrink so small that no one would see me. You can see me there, even with my friends, just having a good time, just like shrinking back. Also with my faux hawk, which was very, very cute and fun. But I certainly couldn't speak up for others at that time. I wasn't even able to speak up for myself. And I want to underline this really strongly, because there may be people here, you may be feeling like, how can I even begin to think of Satya as social justice when I'm having trouble setting boundaries in my own life or speaking up for myself? And the truth is, I can only share my experience with you, but I know that they can go together, because I was the person who, even though I am a good student, I always wanted to do well and to please my teachers. I remember being in second grade, the age my child is now, and I had always did my homework, but I knew we had to read this assignment that I had done on Harriet Tubman. I knew we had to read it out loud. And so I had the assignment in my backpack, and I told my teacher when it came time for me to turn in my work that I hadn't done my work, because I was so terrified of reading aloud and speaking in front of the class that I would rather just not do the assignment. And fast forward to even in high school, I remember running out of a speech class and never going back. So I was really, really shy, and that has lasted through a lot of my life. But for me, I turned into the practice of yoga as a path of personal transformation. And it gave me a voice, not just for myself, but for others. And I want to be really clear about this too. It's not one that has to come before the other. As I started to speak up and to work on behalf of empowerment for my students when I was a teacher, I began to speak more on my own behalf. So they kind of went hand in hand. Now I'm here with you all. I mean, I'm still learning and growing and learning how to do all of this, but I speak my Satya, my truth, loud and proud. And I truly know, I know, right? The more I share my truth, the more it paves the way for others to do the same. And I know more than I know anything else that there's really, truly no time to waste, that we need not just my truth, right? Like I'm just a regular person that has something to say, but if you see yourself that way, right? Regular or special, doesn't matter, right? You have truths that the world needs to hear and that we need shared and amplified and uplifted. And of course, we need to listen to each other as well, but we'll get to that in a moment. Yeah. Whew. And I just want to see, I'm looking, anyone else, yay, my book arrived. Anyone else shy or like has that shy part of you? I'm feeling that little girl in me that's like, I want to feel like seen, you know, and like there's other people that get that. Sometimes now I'm like so able to tune into that very strong vocal confident part, but the little shy Susanna is always there. Yeah. Reminds you it's a journey. And then for those who might be here like, I'm good, I'm outgoing, I'm confident, I speak up. Remember that the people that we're speaking to when we're in that place may be feeling so kind of tied up, bound up, unable to find their voice, right? So wherever you are on that path. Yes. Yeah. Whew, thank you. Yeah, I'm an introverted. Oh, no, I'm an extrovert. No, I can't remember. Extroverted introvert. Yeah, I'm an extroverted introvert. So we're going to move into you a little bit. Where and what is your truth? The truth in you, in your soul, your ancestors, your blood, your land, your spirit, your movement ancestors, in future generations and all beings. Living your yoga as Satya is about a legacy, an impact, not just for you, but for your ancestors, for future generations, your community, your people, your family. And so I wanted to bring it to this kind of bigger level of, first of all, practice. I see Siddhartha Gautama Buddha as one of the earliest and kind of prototypical yogis that we have a lot of information about his life, and it's helpful to us. And we're going to do a practice that he did later in this time together. He says, follow the truth of the way, reflect upon it, make it your own, live it. It will always sustain you. So our Satya, like those words we typed in the chat, can change from moment to moment. If you take a moment and check in, right, your 2 words may have shifted. Mine certainly are, I'm a little more hyped up than I was at the beginning when I was like relaxed and calm. And now I'm like energized, right? So my Satya on a part of my experience is different and it's changing all the time. But you too, if you look below or feel or sense below the, almost like the waves on the top of the ocean and the ocean that's calm and still and under there's a deeper level of Satya in all of us. And this is the part of us that is witnessing, that the part of you that's aware right now of listening to me, of talking, of maybe that you're hungry or thirsty, that present, quiet, deep, peaceful witness is also, it's like Satya with a capital S. It's in all of us. It's our inner soul, our highest self. This part of us has always been and always will be, and it's not touched by movements of the world. And so when we're working with Satya, we're talking about both the relative and the absolute in each of us. But sometimes people use that absolute Satya to invalidate yoga and social change. And so let's explore that a little bit. So the more The more we experience Satya, our own, we can tune into this profound connection with inner peace and a sense of oneness with all existence. This is the aim of yoga, union, not just a silent union, but an active one where we live and act. That's what we'll get into tomorrow, tapas, from this truth, from the Satya, the truth of interconnection. Really profound when we live in this way. Now, remember, it's your message and your truth, and it doesn't have to please everyone, okay? Don't worry if there are people who don't like what you have to share. It ultimately is up to you in spirit, you and whoever you feel connected to, you and yoga, you and the divine, you and God, Goddess, universe, nature. As long as it pleases you and your accountable connection to the universe and your truth-loving soul, we're good. So we're here together for critical thinking. I'm not here to give you like an answer to your Satya, but more to guide you in to what your Satya is and ignite what's already in you. There's a Sanskrit phrase that says, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. Truth is one, but the intelligent one expresses it in many ways. And the intelligent one means like the universe, right? Truth is one, but it's expressed in so many different forms. So here's where, and I forgot to tell you to get a journal. So whether you're writing in your like digitally or you're writing on your, if you've got a journal close to you, reflect right now. What truths are you not speaking to yourself? Let's start with yourself. And I'm going to pause here for a sec because sometimes, let me see if I've got a pen. Sometimes I like to do this, right? And I make this circle on my journal, okay? And right there at the center is a dot. And I'm actually going to make that dot a little bit bigger. And that represents all of the things that are unknowable or unknown to me. And it might be really big. You know, some people say actually our consciousness is kind of like, you know, half or maybe even, let me get that focused. Like here's conscious, here's unconscious. That's not focusing. So what are the conversations that you need to have, like Susanna to Susanna? What are the things, right? There may be some truths. When I was younger, I used to call these like my bathtub truth talks. I used to need substances to get myself into a place to speak truth to myself. I don't use that anymore because for me, it wasn't supportive of my spiritual path and growth. I'm sober as a spiritual choice. But I take baths and I get into the bath and I get really real with myself and I journal. And sometimes it's like, I'm not cool with this and this isn't working for me anymore. And I need to change this. And sometimes it's about me, sometimes it's about others. But there are conversations that I need to have heart to heart with myself. And so you can begin that process now. Just take a moment and maybe start reflecting. And then the next part is, right, yeah, here are the questions. What courageous conversations with yourself do you need to have? What courageous conversations do you need to have with others? And we can't always do all the things all at once, right? But maybe there's a conversation with an auntie, with an uncle, with a friend, with a colleague, with the yoga studio that you're connected with. I want to be really clear, right? These are happening all the time. There's a couple yoga related or wellness related organizations who've reached out to me and they have appropriative names in their titles. And that is on me to decide whether or not I'm going to have a conversation with them. It's going to, if I have it, it will be a courageous conversation about how the impact of the name of their organization or what they're doing or how they're doing it. And sometimes I have like the spoons, the energy to do that, the tuppence to do that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. And sometimes that's for me to say to an ally, a colleague, an accomplice, hey, can you step in and do this? Because it's too much work in the sight of my own, like, trauma to have those conversations. But I need to get clear with myself before I can speak out in the world. Okay. So our goals here are truth in action, speaking up in the face of injustice. And just a reminder, every day we'll make sure we find new ways to connect yoga and social justice in the text, because I know for many of you, I heard from your comments that it was so powerful and so helpful to hear of the connections that are always already in the practice. So Sutra 2.31, Jati Desha Kala Samya Anavichina Sarva Bhauma Mahavratam. These great vows are universal, and this sutra is talking about the yamas. So ahimsa, nonviolence that we did yesterday, satya, asteya, non-stealing, brahmacharya, and aparigraha. These great vows, the yamas, are universal to all earthly objects unbound by the conditions of time, place, birth, class, lineage, family, or circumstance. Wow, right here in the sutras, literally, Patanjali is saying we are committing to ensuring that everyone has access to the yamas, to the practice of yoga, regardless of these conditions. So if that's not a clear connection between yoga and social justice right there in the text, I don't know what is. Furthering this in history, I wanted to draw out Satya because in the struggle for independence of India from the British, many took up satyagraha as a method of gaining political and social freedom. And this was based on the idea that truth, when brought to light, would ensure that oppression would not win. And I'll say that one more time because this is so powerful when I realized this in an experiential way. Truth, when brought to light, ensures that oppression will not win. Might not be in our lifetimes, but in the long game. This is the underpinning understanding in yoga. And satyagraha that was formulated by Gandhi and other people with him, I don't always like to focus on one leader, in part because remember, it's all of our movements, and also in part because he's a really complex figure that did things that were inappropriate and also held anti-Black sentiments. So those are not things I am proud of as part of one of my forebearers, one of my ancestors in the movement. And he also helped contribute to this movement and this work, along with many others whose names we will probably never know. So I like to think of all of the satyagrahis, they call themselves, who satyagraha translates as truth force or force power, this power of love that is generated through adherence to the truth. So the more we can connect to truth, the more power we cultivate for good. Wow, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of notes. Yeah. Satya is speaking one's truth, but it's also listening deeply to others. It's connecting to the truth of the moment and bringing it forward, speaking up to interrupt injustice and oppression. And yoga is a bridge. It's literally unity, yoking, and it can be a bridge between ourselves and others and the world. Yoga itself is a teacher to explore what it means to be yoga together. And so the other piece, there's so much to Satya, but it's not just speaking our truth. Just like, there's so much happening unconsciously, Satya is also listening deeply. Listening so deeply in such a way that we hear others' truths into being. And this is especially true, if you remember that wheel of privilege, in the places where we have privilege, we often miss the truths that someone else is living with. And so if we can just show up and listen. I do this with my family members. I do this with people close to me. I do this with strangers. Like, erase the preconceived notions of who they are so I can just be with them as they truly are in that moment. And it is a practice. So the side of Satya that's not just speaking, but deep listening. Let's get to our practice today. Because, right, adherence to truth is quite a challenge in a culture built on lying and manipulation, which we are dealing with a lot right now. And so you can reflect, what is truth to you? Have you seen it, felt it, remember it, forgotten it? What does it feel like in your body? And just a refresher on our definition. So we are going to explore courageous conversations, right? Starting with care for our own truth and then building out. Courageous conversations are those conversations that may feel uncomfortable, may feel tender, may feel uneasy, but with love and with connection to truth can happen in your community and in the world. So let's get right into the challenge. Okay. Gautama Buddha, again, bringing him back in. Of course, he is considered the founder of Buddhism, but he would not have called himself a Buddhist, and probably wouldn't have loved people adhering to any one religion, but would have invited us into a path of Satya. No one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. Upon experiencing enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, Buddha touched the earth, and then he got up, walked, spoke, and taught. Okay, so we are going to do a practice. And the practice is one of walking in truth. So we're going to do walking meditation, and I'll share that with you now. In walking meditation, we coordinate our breath with our steps or movement. The earth, as we walk, receives healing from us as we do from the earth. We walk a little slower. You can walk fast, your normal pace, but often we slow down to connect with deep truth, nourishment, and care, and take one step, one breath, one phrase. And I will share this with you. So here are some phrases, and then I'm going to stop sharing and get up and we'll do this together. You do not have to move to do this. You can move your hands in and out or up and down. You can move your breath. So this is an accessible practice. You do not have to walk, but you can walk with me. Okay, so here we go. So I am going to move my chair and stand so you can see me walking, okay? So hopefully you can still hear me. Give me a yes in the chat if you can still hear me. So it's one breath in and out. One breath, one step. And so it would look like this. I touch the truth. The truth touches me. I speak the truth. The truth speaks me. I am the truth. The truth is me. And so you can practice with me if you would like. I'll go back over so you can see me again. We'll do it one more time. And if that's too much to remember, you can simply say like truth. And you can also do this fast. Check this out, right? So my regular speed, truth, now, truth, now, truth, right? So you can work with walking meditation, make it work for you. I like slowing down because it helps me to slow down and come out of my head and into my body and receive that support of the earth. So we'll do it one last time. You can join me if you'd like. I touch the truth. Truth touches me. I speak the truth. Truth speaks me. I am the truth. Truth is me. This is a powerful practice. So the invitation for you is to do it. And you can do it, for 5 minutes a day, but to do it today. So do a walking meditation to focus on speaking your truth. And then here's the second step, okay? So there's 2 parts to this challenge. Have a courageous conversation. This could be you with you. This could be, I saw some of you referring to needing to set boundaries. This could be you setting a boundary and telling yourself, I will hold this for myself. It could be speaking to someone. It could be speaking up in your community. It could be listening deeply, right? The courageous conversation could be you courageously listening. Maybe for some of you, you being here is you having this courageous conversation, right? Just listening even to what I'm sharing and how I'm sharing it. So acknowledge yourself for that. Listen deeply, amplify the voices of marginalized folks. Write a letter to your representatives. Write to your Senate, right? Call for action to happen, the action that you want to see. So walking meditation and then courageous conversation. Ooh, I didn't even realize that rhymed, y'all. Walking meditation, courageous conversation. All right. And then share. I love your shares. Your shares are amazing. And please comment on each other's. If you use the hashtag Yoga Social Justice Challenge, we can all search for it. And wow, they're powerful. So you can do a walking meditation. I'm going to share one shortly on my socials. I think it's so powerful for us to be like taking over the media, airwaves with this movement of justice and of truth. Tag me. I will love up what you share. You did it. Okay, here we are. My amazing colleague, friend, co-conspirator, Malaika Aweri, Indigenous leader, poet, artist, says, we never feel ready to speak the truth, but the truth is always ready to be told. And I will close us today with the Sanskrit chant and prayer that says, lead me from asat, not truth, to truth, truth. Lead me from ignorance to insight, from death to immortality. So if you'd like, you can place your hands on your heart or bring your hands together at the heart, touching left and right palm. And you can let the gaze be soft. Feel yourself settle. Om asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mritor ma mritam gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. A deep bow to you. So much gratitude. I can't wait to see your shares. And make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and so you can see when we go live tomorrow and for any future stuff. And just so grateful to be here with you and sending you blessings, sending you joy, and excited to hear your truth. I'm just going to take a moment to check out the comments. Now that this is working, it feels so good to be able to connect with you. Yeah. Wow. As we close, any takeaways? Any like one thing, if you want to type in the chat, one thing that you're like taking out. I know I'm leaving you with a lot to explore: walking meditation, courageous conversation. But if you have, anyone wants to let us know, anyone, one aha, one takeaway. So grateful for you. Deep listening. Yes. Yes. Truth is me. Truth instead of fear. Truth is always ready to be told. I'm practicing yoga by speaking my truth now. Love the connections of the sutras to social justice. Yeah, especially that section, 2.30 to 2.4. It's full of the yamas and yamas and yoga and social justice. Deep listening. Yeah, I've not yet found my true career path. And, perhaps the path is just what you're doing, not what your career is. I remember realizing that I might have many career paths in my lifetime or none. But much luck to you with that, in that conversation of courageous conversation with yourself to explore. Hold space for the truth, dig deeper. The now is truth. My truth may not be pleasing to others. Yes, these are so amazing. Truth with no violence. You can share this too and tag me. I'd love to keep seeing it. I'm going to say goodbye to you all. Thank you. And I'll see you tomorrow for tapas, action, fire, burning inspiration. I cannot wait. I'll see you soon.